What if I told you that the way you end your day, not just how you train or eat during the day, could decide whether your muscles rebuild stronger or whether they slowly break down while you sleep? We often think of muscle recovery as something that happens in the gym with reps and sets. But here's what the research shows. The majority of actual muscle growth and repair doesn't happen while you're moving weights. It happens at night, when your body enters deep restorative sleep. During this time, protein synthesis ramps up, growth hormone surges, and tissues knit themselves back together. Your muscles are literally rebuilt while you rest. But here's the catch. This process is only as strong as the raw materials your body has available. And that's where vitamins play a much bigger role than most people realize. We talk a lot about protein, creatine, and even carbs, yet the right vitamins at the right time can actually amplify muscle repair overnight, while the wrong ones can interfere with your body's natural rhythms, blunting growth, disrupting sleep, and even raising stress hormones. Think of your body like a construction crew. Sleep is the time when the workers show up to repair the building. Protein is the bricks, but vitamins, they're the foreman, the blueprint, and the power supply. Without them, the work slows, errors pile up, and the repair never finishes. In this session, we're going to explore 4 key vitamins that, when taken at night, have been shown in scientific studies to support muscle regeneration, improve sleep quality, and enhance recovery. And just as importantly, I'll show you 2 common supplements people often take in the evening that can actually sabotage this process, leaving you more tired, more sore, and less strong than you could be. By the end, you'll have a clear, science-backed protocol for what to take and what to avoid, so that every night of sleep becomes a powerful ally in rebuilding your body. Most people know vitamin D is the sunshine vitamin. We think of it in terms of bone strength or mood support. But what many don't realize is that vitamin D functions much more like a hormone than a simple vitamin. It directly influences how your muscles rebuild and recover, especially during sleep. Here's what the research shows. Vitamin D plays a crucial role in protein synthesis, the very process by which your body repairs tiny tears in muscle fibers after exercise. When vitamin D levels are adequate, your muscle cells respond more effectively to the signals from testosterone, growth hormone, and insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1, all of which peak at night. In fact, low vitamin D is linked to reduced muscle strength, slower recovery, and even higher risk of injury in older adults. Now let's translate that into something you can picture. Imagine your muscles are like a construction site. During the day, you stress the building with wear and tear. At night, the repair crew comes in to rebuild. Protein is the bricks. Growth hormone is the manager who directs the work. But vitamin D is like the permit that allows construction to even happen. Without it, the crew stands around waiting, and the repair never fully gets off the ground. So, how do we use vitamin D effectively at night? The key is balance. Because vitamin D is fat soluble, it doesn't flush out of the body quickly like water soluble vitamins. That means timing is less about urgent dosing and more about consistency. However, some studies suggest that taking vitamin D with your evening meal, especially if it includes healthy fats, may improve absorption and ensure levels remain stable during the overnight repair process. Here's a simple tool to apply. If you train in the late afternoon or evening and you know your vitamin D levels are on the lower side, taking your daily dose with dinner can align that absorption with the upcoming window of nighttime muscle repair. This doesn't mean taking more is better. Excess vitamin D can actually cause calcium buildup in the wrong places. Instead, think of it as making sure your nightly repair crew has the clearance to get to work. Another overlooked aspect is vitamin D's relationship with sleep. Adequate vitamin D status is associated with better sleep quality and longer deep sleep phases, the very stages when growth hormone peaks and muscle repair is maximized. Low vitamin D, on the other hand, has been linked with insomnia, fragmented sleep, and daytime fatigue. So by ensuring your vitamin D levels are optimal, you're not just supporting muscle repair directly, you're also creating the right sleep environment for that repair to occur. Now, have you ever noticed how in winter, when you get less sunlight, your energy dips and recovery feels slower? That's not just in your head. Seasonal drops in vitamin D reduce your body's ability to repair tissue efficiently. It's one of the reasons athletes often supplement during darker months to keep performance stable. The takeaway here is simple but powerful. Vitamin D is not just about bones or mood. It's a repair signal. It primes your body to take full advantage of the rebuilding window that sleep provides. If you're low, your recovery is like trying to build a house without a permit, stalled, inefficient, and frustrating. But when you have enough, every hour of sleep becomes a more powerful investment in your strength and longevity. So as we set the stage for the other nighttime vitamins, remember this: consistency with vitamin D is your foundation. It doesn't act alone, but without it, the rest of the repair process can't unfold properly. When most people think of vitamin C, they picture oranges, immune support, or maybe avoiding the common cold. But in the context of rebuilding muscle overnight, vitamin C has a different, often overlooked role. It's one of the most powerful antioxidants your body relies on to reduce oxidative stress and to build the scaffolding that holds your muscles together. Here's what's happening in your body. Every time you train or exert yourself physically, your muscle fibers develop microtears. That's normal. It's how muscles grow back stronger. But that stress also generates free radicals, unstable molecules that can damage cell membranes, proteins, and even DNA. Left unchecked, this oxidative stress can slow down recovery, increase soreness, and leave your muscles more vulnerable to injury. This is where vitamin C steps in. Think of oxidative stress like a campfire that's burning out of control in the middle of your construction site. Vitamin C is the firefighter rushing in to keep the flames from spreading so the repair crew can keep building without interference. But it doesn't stop there. Vitamin C is also essential for collagen synthesis, the protein that forms connective tissue, tendons, ligaments, and the matrix that supports your muscle fibers. Without adequate collagen, your muscles might get stronger, but the scaffolding around them stays weak, raising the risk of strains or tears. Taking vitamin C in the evening ensures that as your body goes into repair mode, it has both the shield and the scaffolding material ready to use. Now, here's a subtle but important point. Vitamin C is water soluble, which means your body doesn't store large amounts. Consistency matters, and timing it in the evening, especially if you've trained that day, gives your system antioxidant protection exactly when recovery processes peak. Some athletes even pair vitamin C with protein in their dinner or evening shake, creating a powerful combination of building blocks and protectors. Have you ever noticed how some people bounce back quickly from workouts while others feel sore for days? Part of that difference often comes down to how well their body manages inflammation and oxidative stress. Adequate vitamin C helps you land in the faster recovery group. Here's a simple protocol aimed to include vitamin C-rich foods in your evening meal like bell peppers, kiwi, berries, or broccoli. If you use supplements, keep the dose moderate. The goal isn't to flood your system, but to provide steady support. In fact, extremely high doses of vitamin C may blunt some of the adaptive training responses. More is not always better. And here's a reflection for you. Think about your last hard workout. Did you give your body not just the protein to rebuild, but also the tools to defend itself while it worked? That's the overlooked role of vitamin C, to make sure repair happens cleanly, efficiently, and without unnecessary damage. If insights like this are helping you see recovery in a new light, consider subscribing to the channel. Here we explore not just what to do, but why it works, so you can train smarter, recover faster, and live stronger. When you think about the wear and tear your muscles experience in a single day, walking, lifting, carrying, exercising, it's easy to picture the obvious strain on muscle fibers. But deep inside each muscle cell, another kind of stress is happening quietly. Your mitochondria, the power plants of the cell, are burning fuel to generate energy. That process creates free radicals, the same unstable molecules we talked about earlier. Now imagine those free radicals as sparks flying in a factory. If they're not managed, they start to damage the delicate machinery of the cell, especially the cell membranes. And once the cell membrane is compromised, it's like the walls of your factory have holes, nutrients leak out, toxins seep in, and repair slows down dramatically. Here's where vitamin E plays a starring role. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant, which means it embeds itself right into the fatty layer of cell membranes. Instead of floating around in the bloodstream, it literally stands guard at the cell walls, neutralizing free radicals before they can poke holes. That's why many scientists call it the membrane protector. Research has shown that vitamin E supplementation can reduce exercise-induced muscle damage, lower markers of oxidative stress, and even decrease delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS. But what's fascinating is how this aligns with sleep. During deep sleep stages, when your body is orchestrating muscle repair, cell membranes need to be intact and functional to transport nutrients in and waste out. Without that protection, recovery slows. With it, the process is cleaner, more efficient, and more complete. Let's make this concrete with an analogy. Think of your muscle cell as a house that needs renovation. The workers are inside fixing the walls and wiring. Vitamin E is like the outer fence that protects the site from vandals. Without the fence, damage happens faster than repair. With the fence, the workers inside can focus on building without distraction. Now, what's the best way to apply this knowledge? Since vitamin E is fat-soluble, absorption improves when it's taken with healthy fats. That makes evening meals, especially those with foods like avocado, nuts, or olive oil, an ideal pairing. This ensures vitamin E is present in the bloodstream during the night when muscle membranes are under their most active repair cycle. It's important, however, not to fall into the megadose trap. While moderate amounts of vitamin E can be beneficial, excessive supplementation may actually interfere with training adaptations, similar to vitamin C in extremely high doses. Balance is the key. The goal is to provide enough membrane protection without blunting the body's natural signals that stimulate growth. Have you ever woken up sore and stiff, wondering why recovery seemed incomplete despite getting enough sleep? Sometimes the missing piece isn't protein or training technique, but cellular protection. When your membranes are strong, recovery feels smoother and soreness is less debilitating. Another interesting aspect is vitamin E's role in circulation. By reducing oxidative stress in blood vessels, vitamin E can support healthy blood flow. Better circulation means more oxygen and nutrients delivered to muscle tissue throughout the night. So it's not just protecting the cells, it's also helping supply lines stay open and efficient. Here's a practical tool. Focus first on dietary sources of vitamin E. Almonds, sunflower seeds, spinach, and hazelnuts are excellent options. Including a small portion of these in your evening snack or dinner can naturally boost vitamin E levels without the need for large supplements. If you do choose a supplement, keep it moderate and pair it with healthy fats. So the big takeaway here is this: vitamin E is your nighttime shield. It guards the very walls of your muscle cells, ensuring that all the rebuilding signals, growth hormone, protein synthesis, collagen repair, can do their job without interruption. It doesn't build muscle directly, but it protects the environment where building happens. If vitamins like D, C, and E are the builders and protectors of your muscles at night, the B vitamins are the sparks that keep the machinery running. Without them, the repair crew has the blueprints, the bricks, and the scaffolding, but no electricity to power the tools. The B complex includes several vitamins, B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B9, and B12, each with specific roles. But together they share one critical function. They convert the food you eat into usable cellular energy, or ATP. And it's that energy your body depends on to power the labor-intensive process of muscle repair during sleep. Here's what the research shows. Vitamin B6 supports the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which not only regulate mood, but also help set the stage for melatonin, the sleep hormone. Vitamin B12 and folate, B9, are key for red blood cell formation, which means more oxygen delivered to muscle tissue. Riboflavin B2 and niacin B3 are central to the metabolic pathways that generate energy inside the mitochondria. Together, they ensure that while you sleep, the cellular repair shops have the energy supply to keep working through the night. Let's use an analogy. Imagine you're running a night shift in a factory. The workers show up, the materials are ready, the building is secure, but the lights are off and the machines won't start. That's what happens when your B vitamins are insufficient. Everything is in place for muscle repair, but there's simply no energy to run the process efficiently. A fascinating connection is how B vitamins link muscle recovery to brain function. When B6 levels are adequate, melatonin is produced more efficiently, improving sleep quality. Better sleep equals more time in deep stages. When growth hormone peaks, meanwhile B12 supports myelin production, which insulates nerve fibers. That means not only are your muscles recovering, but your neuromuscular communication, the wiring between brain and muscle, is also being reinforced. This dual action is why people who correct B vitamin deficiencies often report both better energy and better coordination. Practical application: timing matters less with B vitamins than with fat-soluble vitamins, since they are water-soluble and excreted quickly. However, taking them in the evening, particularly B6, can be supportive for sleep regulation and overnight protein metabolism. Pairing a B complex supplement or B-rich foods with dinner ensures those cofactors are available as your body transitions into recovery mode. Foods like salmon, eggs, leafy greens, lentils, and whole grains are excellent natural sources. Have you ever noticed that when you're stressed, your recovery feels slower and your sleep quality declines? That's not just coincidence. Stress burns through B vitamins rapidly, especially B5 and B6. Without replenishment, you end up depleted, and both your nervous system and muscle recovery suffer. Reintroducing them is like topping off the fuel in a generator. Suddenly the lights come back on. Here's a simple tool. If you train intensely or experience high stress, consider an evening ritual that includes a balanced dinner with B-rich foods. For some people, a moderate B-complex supplement at night helps stabilize sleep and recovery, but always keep doses reasonable. Too much of certain Bs, like B3, can cause flushing or disrupt rest. So here's the takeaway. The B-complex is not just about energy during the day, it's the quiet background power source at night, ensuring your repair crews don't run out of fuel midway through the job. By supporting both your muscles and your nervous system, B vitamins create a bridge between physical recovery and mental resilience. If this perspective is giving you tools you can actually apply in your daily life, I such invite you to subscribe to the channel. Every week we break down the science of health and performance in practical, usable ways, so you don't just learn the what, but also the how. We've just seen how B vitamins can be your silent ally empowering overnight muscle repair. But here's the paradox. Not all B vitamin formulas are created equal, and not all are best taken at night. In fact, certain blends marketed as energy boosters or pre-workout complexes can actually disrupt your sleep and blunt the very recovery process you're trying to enhance. Here's what's happening. Some B complexes, especially those packaged in energy drinks, pre-workout powders, or morning vitality capsules, are designed to stimulate the nervous system. They often contain high doses of B12, niacin, B3, and added ingredients like caffeine, taurine, or green tea extract. These combinations act almost like a mild stimulant, increasing dopamine and norepinephrine, revving up your alertness and raising cortisol. Now, that's exactly what you want before a workout or in the morning when you need focus, but at night, it's like calling the construction crew to work in the dark while blaring sirens and floodlights. Instead of a calm, efficient rebuild, you create chaos with workers too jittery to focus. The result, restless sleep, higher nighttime cortisol, and less growth hormone release. Let's put this into perspective with an analogy. Imagine your body is a city. At night, the city shuts down the traffic lights, lowers the noise, and begins repair work on the streets. That's your natural sleep state, quiet, restorative, focused on rebuilding. Now imagine a truckload of workers shows up blasting music, turning on floodlights, and shouting directions at 2 a.m. That's what happens when you introduce stimulant-like B formulas at the wrong time. Instead of recovery, you get disruption. Research supports this. Elevated nighttime cortisol is directly associated with impaired muscle protein synthesis and reduced sleep quality. And poor sleep, even just a few nights in a row, has been shown to decrease testosterone and growth hormone, two of the very hormones you need to repair and strengthen muscle. So what's the protocol here? The simple rule is match the form of B vitamins to the timing of your day. Use energy-focused formulas in the morning or before training when stimulation is useful. Save gentler, balanced B complexes, particularly those emphasizing B6 and folate for the evening. And if your supplement label includes caffeine or energy blend in the ingredients, keep it far from bedtime. Another practical tool is to listen to your body. If you've ever taken a multivitamin or performance complex late in the day and found yourself tossing and turning at night, that's a clear sign the timing isn't right. Muscle repair depends on deep, unbroken sleep cycles, and anything that keeps your nervous system in a state of alertness is working against you. Have you noticed how sometimes you can do everything right, eat enough protein, stretch, even sleep for 8 hours, and yet wake up feeling unrested and sore? Often the culprit is not sleep quantity, but sleep quality. Stimulant-like vitamins or blends at night are a hidden thief of that quality. The empowering takeaway is this: your recovery depends not only on what you take, but when you take it, by being intentional with timing, morning for stimulation, evening for restoration. You align your biology with your supplements instead of fighting against it. So if your goal is to rebuild stronger muscles overnight, don't just think about adding the right nutrients. Equally important is removing the wrong ones at the wrong time. Sometimes the best step forward is avoiding the silent saboteurs. Calcium is one of the most celebrated minerals in human health. We're told from childhood that it builds strong bones and supports healthy muscles. And that's true. Calcium is essential for muscle contraction, nerve signaling, and skeletal strength. But here's the paradox: when taken at the wrong time, particularly in the evening, calcium can actually interfere with the very process of muscle recovery you're trying to optimize. To understand why, let's zoom in on how muscles work. Every single contraction, from lifting a dumbbell to simply climbing stairs, depends on calcium flooding into the muscle fiber. It's the switch that turns on the contraction. Magnesium, on the other hand, is the mineral that turns that switch off. It helps the muscle relax, reset, and prepare for the next contraction. The balance between calcium and magnesium is like the balance between the accelerator and the brakes in your car. Both are necessary, but if you slam the accelerator when the car should be parked, you're asking for trouble. Here's the issue with nighttime calcium. Evening is the time when your body should be calming down, releasing tension, and entering deep restorative sleep. Magnesium plays a leading role here, supporting the activation of GABA, a calming neurotransmitter, and helping muscles fully relax. When you introduce extra calcium late in the day, you tilt that balance toward contraction rather than relaxation. Instead of preparing your nervous system and muscles for rest, you keep them slightly more stimulated. Let's use a real-world analogy. Picture yourself trying to go to sleep with the lights dimmed and everything quiet. Just as you're drifting off, someone flips on a bright light. You might still manage to sleep, but it won't be as deep or restful. That's what calcium at night can do to your muscles and nervous system. Keep them in a state that's just a bit too on. Research shows that magnesium supplementation at night improves sleep quality, reduces nighttime cramping, and enhances recovery by lowering cortisol and supporting growth hormone release. But when calcium and magnesium compete for absorption, calcium often dominates, leaving magnesium less effective. This can blunt those recovery benefits and even contribute to restless sleep or muscle tightness. So what's the practical takeaway? Timing. Calcium is best taken earlier in the day with breakfast or lunch, when your body is naturally more active in using muscles for movement. This aligns calcium intake with the periods when contraction and bone support are most in demand. Magnesium, in contrast, fits perfectly with the evening, helping to relax both body and mind. Have you ever noticed how some nights your muscles feel twitchy or you wake up with cramps? That's often a sign of imbalance between calcium and magnesium. Shifting calcium to the morning and reserving magnesium for the evening can dramatically improve this pattern. Here's a simple tool. Think of calcium as your day mineral and magnesium as your night mineral. By respecting their natural roles, you give your body the best of both worlds: active, supported muscles during the day and fully relaxed, recovering muscles at night. Another overlooked point: calcium also plays a role in stimulating alertness by affecting certain neurotransmitters. That can be helpful when you want focus in the morning, but counterproductive when you're trying to transition into deep sleep. This subtle stimulation may explain why some people report difficulty falling asleep when they take multivitamins heavy in calcium before bed. So while calcium is essential for strength and bone health, the paradox is clear. Taking it at the wrong time can sabotage muscle relaxation, sleep quality, and ultimately recovery. The smarter strategy isn't about avoiding calcium altogether, but aligning it with your body's rhythm: day for activity, night for restoration. The empowering message here is that health is often about timing as much as quantity. By simply shifting when you take certain nutrients, you can turn every night of sleep into a deeper, more powerful window of muscle repair. We began with a simple but powerful idea. Your muscles don't grow in the gym, they grow while you sleep. The sets, the reps, and the effort create the stimulus. But the rebuilding, the strengthening, the actual adaptation, that happens during the quiet hours of the night. And whether that repair is efficient or sluggish depends on the raw materials you give your body. We explored 4 vitamins that act like silent partners in this process. Vitamin D, which operates more like a hormone, giving your body the green light to build and repair. Vitamin C, the firefighter and scaffolding engineer, reducing oxidative stress while helping collagen knit tissues back together. Vitamin E, the shield that protects the very walls of your muscle cells from free radical damage. And the B complex, the electricity that powers the repair machinery while also helping your brain settle into restorative sleep. Together, these four nutrients create an environment where recovery is not just possible but optimized. They don't replace protein or training. They amplify the body's natural systems, making sure the construction crew inside you has the clearance, the protection, and the energy to rebuild stronger every night. But we also uncovered two common mistakes: supplements that can sabotage your efforts when taken at the wrong time. Stimulant-heavy B formulas or energy blends at night, which keep your nervous system buzzing when it should be quiet, robbing you of deep sleep. And calcium taken before bed, which tips the balance away from relaxation and interferes with magnesium's role in calming the body. These aren't bad nutrients, they're just mistimed. Shift them to the right window of the day and they go from saboteurs to allies. What this all comes down to is a principle you can carry into every area of health: timing matters. You could be eating the right foods, lifting the right weights, even supplementing with the right vitamins, but if the timing is off, you're swimming against the current. Aligning your supplements with your body's natural rhythms is like swimming with the current. Suddenly everything feels easier, more effective, and more sustainable. So here's my challenge for you tonight. Take inventory of what you're putting into your body before bed. Are you giving your muscles what they need to rebuild or unintentionally holding them back? Could a simple shift, adding vitamin C-rich foods to dinner, moving your calcium to breakfast, or supporting sleep with magnesium instead, unlock deeper rest and faster recovery? Remember, small consistent changes are what compound over time. You don't have to overhaul everything overnight. Start with one shift this week. Notice how your sleep feels, how your body recovers, how your energy carries into the next day. Let those results guide you forward. And if this session gave you clarity, if it sparked new understanding about how science translates into practical action for your health, then I invite you to stay connected with us. Like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to join this growing community of people committed to building healthier, stronger, and longer lives. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about vitamins. It's about honoring the remarkable biology you already have, giving it the conditions it needs to do what it does best. When you align with that biology, every night becomes an opportunity, every morning a little stronger, every year a little more resilient, and that's a mission worth committing to.